You've seen it, right? Scrolling online, and there it is. Watch Netflix, premium everything, totally free. It's an offer that's almost impossible to ignore. I mean, who doesn't want top tier content without that top tier price tag? But what's really going on behind that promise? Well, today we're going to peel back the curtain and find out. So let's get right to it. Is it actually possible? Can you really get the entire Netflix library without ever paying for a subscription? The short answer, yeah, people are definitely doing it. But the long answer, well, that's where things start to get a whole lot more complicated. And, we're not talking about some hidden, shady corner of the internet here. Just a quick search and you're hit with a flood of blogs and forums, all shouting the same thing: free premium streaming. They promise this simple, kind of magical way to binge watch to your heart's content, no credit card needed. So we're going to zero in on one of the most common tricks in the book, something called Netflix premium cookies. We're going to unpack the tech, walk you through the entire process, and really dig into the hidden costs of this so-called free ride. To really wrap our heads around this, we have to start with the basic technology it's all built on. I mean, what on earth is a browser cookie? And how can a little text file possibly unlock a giant like Netflix? At its core, it's actually pretty simple. You know how when you log into a site like Netflix, it keeps you logged in for next time? That's a cookie at work. It's just a tiny text file the website gives your browser. Think of it like a digital key. The next time you show up, your browser shows Netflix the key, and the site says, "Oh, hey, I know you," and lets you right in. No password required. And this right here is the heart of the entire trick. On the one hand, you have your cookie. It's your personal, secure key made by Netflix just for you and your account. But then, you've got the premium cookie. This is basically a copy of someone else's key. A person with a paid account has copied their active sessions key and is just handing out duplicates online. You're not really logging in, you're just using someone else's key to sneak in the back door. Now, these websites love to promise instant access, but the reality? Oh, it couldn't be further from the truth. The actual process is less like a simple click and more like an 8-step digital obstacle course designed to test your patience. So the journey begins. First, you get sent to a Google search where you have to hunt for one very specific blog link. Once you find it, you have to wait for a timer at the top of the page to count down. Then you have to click on random images or headings to prove you're paying attention. After that, you solve a little puzzle like matching emojis. And believe it or not, we're only halfway through. But the gauntlet isn't over. Next, you have to wait for another timer to finish. Then you have to complete one of those "I'm not a robot" CAPTCHAs. But step 7, this is where it gets really wild. You're required to click on an advertisement, copy the ad's URL, and then paste it back on the original page. Only after jumping through every single one of those hoops do you finally get the cookie data. Instant access? Not a chance. And hey, if you think I'm making it sound worse than it is, this quote is taken directly from one of the guides. It says it all. Be patient. One wrong click, you get a little impatient with a timer, and boom, you're sent right back to the beginning to start that whole 8-step process all over again. Okay, so let's imagine you actually make it through that whole tedious process. You finally have the cookie. But what did you just risk to get it? This is where we have to talk about the real price of free. And look, these risks are no joke. First up, your security. You're copying code from a totally untrusted website and pasting it directly into your web browser. That's a massive open door for malware and phishing scams. Then, of course, this is a clear violation of Netflix's terms of service. This could easily get the original subscriber's account banned, and it could even get your own internet access to Netflix blocked entirely. And while legal action against one person is rare, it's always a possibility when you're bypassing a paid service. So what's the justification from the people providing these cookies? Well, they often try to frame it as a good deed. The story they tell is that they're just helping out people who can't afford a subscription at the moment. It's a nice thought, I guess, but it stands in pretty stark contrast to all the risks we just talked about, doesn't it? So in the end, it all just boils down to this fundamental trade-off. You've got the promise of convenience on one side and the cold, hard reality of the consequences on the other.
Let's just break it down one last time. The pros are all those glittering promises, right? Free HD streaming, multiple screens, the whole shebang. But the cons? That's the reality. It's a tedious, totally unreliable process that breaks the rules and puts your own online safety at serious risk. Which really leads to the big question: is that shiny promise actually worth what you have to pay in time, effort, and security?
And that leaves us with a question that goes so much further than just Netflix. Anytime you see something online being offered for free, it's always worth asking yourself, what is the real price here? Is it my time? Is it my data? Is it my security? Because as this whole process shows, when it comes to the internet, free is almost never actually free.